Hi my loves, it's Savvie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to discuss with you the 6 things I hate about being deaf. So the first thing that I hate about being deaf is having to concentrate to listen. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I had to go to speech therapy for 7 years just to learn how to talk like this. Meanwhile, other kids probably did not have to go through 7 years of speech therapy. Whilst I was in speech therapy, I always had to learn to listen. And unlike a normal hearing person, I do not listen naturally. I have to actually concentrate on what the person is saying. I'm constantly lip reading. I'm constantly concentrating very hard to listen. Because if I don't concentrate, I hear absolutely nothing. And it's actually horrible because in social environments I have to concentrate so hard just to keep up with the conversation, and normally I actually can't keep up with the conversation. And that actually brings me to number 2 on my list, and that is always having to ask people to repeat themselves. Sometimes my concentration isn't always perfect, or the purple sometimes my concentration isn't always perfect, or people tend to mumble, or they talk very softly and I go, what did you say? Because especially when someone says something to me, I only hear about 3 words and the rest I have to fill in. And if someone mumbles or doesn't pronounce words properly, I'm most likely to not know what the heck they said. So I'm always constantly asking people like, oh, please can you repeat what you said? Or sorry, what did you say? And unfortunately, people tend to get a little bit irritated when I ask them a lot. And sometimes I do wish I could just hear like a normal person and just be part of a conversation. That's not to say that I'm not always part of the conversation. I can hold conversation, but especially if it's in a loud public area, I just don't hear very well. In public areas, there can be a lot of background noise and I struggle to even listen, and this can make me feel very anxious and I don't know how to respond. And that brings me to my next point, is having anxiety in public because I can't hear. I'm quite an anxious person when I'm out in public because I don't always understand what people have said to me. If I go out with a bunch of friends, I feel a lot more relaxed, but I still have to order food, I still have to talk to people, and I tend to get nervous about it. It's not nervous to talk to people, it's just nervous that I don't hear them. Because unfortunately I do tend to miss a lot when I'm in public because there's so much background noise and I can't tend to focus on the person that's talking to me. The reason for that is because my brain is constantly working to recognize sounds around me. That could be any sound from the kitchen to people talking around me to the waiter asking me what I want, and I get really anxious because I miss a lot, I can't hear anything, and sometimes the situation can be very awkward. Another reason I hate being deaf is that I get pressure sores. I don't know if this is the same for every single deaf person out there, but I have cochlear implants. And as I explained in my previous videos, I have 2 devices. The one is inside my head and the other one's on top of my head. And between the devices there is skin. And unfortunately, if I apply too much pressure onto my head here, or if I wear my prosthesis for too long, both the devices, because they're connected by magnets, they tend to rub against one another, and that creates a pressure sore. I actually had one recently about 2 days ago, and there are these awful sores on your head. Like, you can't see it if you lift up your head because it's on the inside, but it's like the worst headache you can ever imagine. It feels like someone is taking a blunt knife and like slowly stabbing you in the head and like just pushing it in. My vision is all fuzzy, I can't concentrate, and I actually feel sick. Normally I end up crying about it because it's just so sore. I try to avoid my pressure sores by taking my prosthesis off at night, but that doesn't always mean that I won't get a pressure sore. Another thing I absolutely hate about being deaf is that a lot of people automatically assume that you're stupid. I've been in a lot of situations where I've met someone and I think they're really awesome and we have this connection, but then I tell them that I'm deaf, and people respond so strangely when I tell them that I'm deaf. Either they can be, oh wow, that's so cool, or they could be like, oh cool, and then they never talk to you again. I remember when I was younger, I went to one of my friend's parties and she had another friend there, and I ended up telling her that I was deaf because back then I had these awful, like really big bulky things behind my ears, and people ask questions and it's rude not to answer them. So I told her that I was deaf and she was just like, because we're kind of not stupid. You'd be surprised how many people would stop talking to me and call me names when they find out that I'm deaf, and they go like, oh, you're just stupid anyway, no one wants to talk to you. And it's been really, really difficult because it's quite humiliating in a sense, and it's not like that. We're not like that. And yeah, I just really, really struggle with that assumption. Another thing I hate about being deaf is, in a sense, feeling quite alone and knowing that I will never hear sound like a normal person would. That's not to say that I'm not thankful to have processors. I'm so thankful to have cochlear implants, because without it I would not be the person I am today, and I would not be able to speak well, and I would not be able to communicate well. But sometimes it does suck because I don't hear music like everyone else does. I don't hear everything like everyone else does. Like, for example, I don't know what a mosquito sounds like because I've just never heard it before, because I don't think it's on the frequency that I can hear with these processors. But in a sense, I kind of miss out because I would love to be musical. I would love to sing, and I do play piano, but I just really struggle with the fact that I won't be able to do those things to the best of my ability because I do have a disability. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I can only make the best of what I've got. Well, you guys, those are the 6 things I absolutely hate about being deaf. I hope this video explains some questions you had, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, or if you learned something new about this video, give it a big fat thumbs up. That's another thing I don't like about being deaf, is I always tongue-tie myself. Like, I struggle to pronounce words sometimes, so I tend to I just stutter, like I'm stuttering now. If you really enjoy my content, please subscribe below. It's greatly appreciated, and it makes my heart so very happy. It would also be greatly appreciated if you could share this video so it could get to the right ears. I hope you are having or had a great day, and I love you all so very much. I shall see you in my next video. Bye!